Yeah, definitely the nerds.
It is for nerds. Like, and seriously, all the authors.
Oh, you wouldn't happen to have any more of those kombuchas that I left here in that cooler? They were cans?
I didn't know. I emptied that cooler.
No, she might have drank.
Unless it was Coors Bucha. Yeah, that'd be disgusting. They have alcoholic kombucha.
Yeah, they have some that are like 11%. Very small amounts. And, you know, she's been drinking it, but she drinks it for the vinegary bite. She maybe has a couple of glasses a day. I don't think it's anything to worry about. And hers is like less than 0.05%.
Is she still on the wagon?
Yeah, Wednesday it'll be a month for both of us.
Good job.
Yeah. And I've been off weed for like a week.
Oh, good. Well,
I gotta get a different job.
I guess I don't need to give you any of this good weed.
I appreciate it. Abby's got enough too. I stole some from Abby.
Well, Kuzamano. This guy's a Kuzamano?
Cusimano.
Yeah, Jeannie Kuzamano.
Howdy.
I dream of Jenny Cusimano.
Yeah, fucking.
Long walk from the Bronx to fucking Florida.
She had a wart the size of a grapefruit taken off her ass. The joke is that her ass is so big that the like.
I gotta explain the joke.
Yeah. Uncle Junior's like, what? What's the point? I don't get it. It's implying that her ass is so big.
Smells like fish in here, Uncle June. Hey, everybody! Welcome to Kooks Cranks Iconoclast.
Who's hungry?
Oh, I think everyone will have a strange feeling in their stomach by the end of this one. I'm your host, Mike.
Queasy.
I'm your host, Mike Luck, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host,
Spencer Lowry.
Christopher the Magical Wizard Wells.
Yeah.
Might even say a grand wizard.
when your whites aren't white enough, huh? Oh, today, it's going to be a bit all over. We're talking about the occult and its influence on politics. And this is kind of a two-parter. This started out as looking into...
multi-part.
Kind of. It's going to be a two-parter.
Yeah, at least something we'll revisit down the road quite often, I'm sure. This started out as a look into psyops behind Q-Anon specifically, and it just branched into a whole goddamn wide world of fucking insanity. So we're kind of going to demarcate like this episode and the next between occultism and psyops, because everyone knows about, you know, Nazi occultism. Fucking, it's all over the History Channel forever, has been.
Yeah,
So-
if nothing else, you've seen, what's the Hellboy? You know, that
Yeah, Nazi occultism.
Yeah.
It's
They're always looking for some kind of amulet.
But
yeah.
mostly the History Channel. Or, I mean, I guess even, well, no. I was going to say the Indiana Jones ones, that's all pretty much Christian-based.
Well, like
The Nazis were involved.
Yeah, Holy Grail, Spear of Destiny, all that kind of shit. That was all like, you know, Christian fable, magical instruments or whatever.
Giant rolling
Except
balls.
it's not magic.
Yeah.
Don't get it twisted, because
Mhm.
Christians don't do magic.
They don't like magic.
even though... Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna do occultism today and try to go beyond the, you know, everybody knows about Nazi occultism stuff, get into stuff a little more contemporary, because this shit obviously goes way back. Fucking, you know, political power and occult power are kind of wrapped all in the same thing the farther back you go. Royalty is where we get the word reality. They come from the same root. So, but anywho.
Is that real?
Yeah.
Is it...
I don't know. That sounds like one of the things I read on my Hebrew Israelite pages,
It's
where they're like,
yeah.
see?
library
Look-
is lies buried.
Yeah, exactly. That type of thing. Yes.
Tricknology.
Yeah, tricknology.
So yeah, we're gonna do occultism today, and then next episode we're gonna delve more into psyops, which is technically the same thing if you really look at it. But we're going to have some specific examples and use Q as a bit of an anchor on that point. But yeah, before we dive into it, as always, we're going to do a little What's Weird this week.
All right. Mine's it's relevant because it's this is where we are, folks. I got an article from thesmokinggun.com. In Florida, about a week ago, a 45-year-old man got charged. He committed battery after being denied refills at a child's lemonade stand. Let's see.
Wow, I think the news story here is that there was a child's lemonade stand.
Well, that is highly illegal.
Wait, wasn't last episode something to do with the lemonade stand?
You mean Lemongate?
That's the thing.
Yeah. See, the lemonade stands are run by what? Children.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's pulling the strings?
They come into this country every day by the millions. They don't speak the language. Kids.
Children.
Who owns all the lemon farms?
Let me guess, Chris.
Get that sour look off your face.
Yeah, you old lemon sucker. Let's see. So, anyways, Stephen Cusimano, 45 years young. He was about 7:30 on a Tuesday, which is kind of late to be slinging lemonade.
Yeah.
He purchased one glass and then, pounded it down. Must have been good because then he got angry when he was not allowed to refill his cup. I could just see this, He's like, $1, he gets it. He's like, I want to. Oh God, terrible.
Kid.
This putz there pictured at the right. Then he started huffing and puffing. The mother was nearby watching the kids, being, just trying to teach the kids a little less life lesson while they learned a big one today.
Pimping them out.
Yeah. And $1 for a glass of lemonade. That's pretty good nowadays. Anyways, he grabbed the mother by the wrist aggressively while standing in a fighting stance. So I could see this, Krav Maga kind of stance. Said threatening the mother that you beat her up. Then quickly ran away. So all talk all bark no bite here. It looks like. Thankfully, no one was hurt. The police quickly caught him because he was running around on foot. Cusimano admitted to the entire sequence of events, but claimed he had a good reason. The mother was talking shit.
Yeah, that's the exact quote.
The complaint does not list the age of the victim, but it's a mother of a couple of kids, 30s, 40s. He's described as a transient. He's got multiple felony batteries, so one more to his list. His illustrious rep sheet here. Lots of drug convictions, narcotics, trespassing, disorderly intoxication, assault with a deadly weapon, theft, and disorderly contact.
Wow.
Just a
well-rounded resume.
Yeah.
I like that it says he claimed that he grabbed the victim due to her, and this is a quotation, talking shit to me.
Yeah, and eliminates. I mean, it's just, if it wasn't here, it was going to be somewhere else.
Yeah.
Fellow like this,
he looks like he got his head rubbed on the concrete by the police.
Yeah.
I think that's a little piece of chorizo or something, like a birthmark.
Got a Gorbachev.
No, I've had that before. You see there's a little bit on the cheek, too? That's where your head's getting forced down onto the concrete by the police that are arresting you.
I mean, it's hard to even have a kid run lemonade stand nowadays because legal red tape,
I'm not saying he didn't deserve it.
He did.
I'm sure he deserved
it. But, so good on the mother for trying to help these kids do something fun and get involved with the community a little bit. And it sucks that this had to happen to him, but he's getting his. He's being held up at $5,000 bail. This ain't the first, and it probably won't be the last for this guy. So
you didn't pull this shit in a Chinese kid's lemonade stand.
Lemonade?
Foreman is...
Cusimano.
The foreman would be out there to fucking whoop his ass.
I said call lemonade. I didn't say that. So, Clearwater, Florida. Lock up your kids. Think twice about who you let into your lemonade stand.
Yeah, even after all the bullshit you have to go through to start a lemonade stand.
Yeah, I mean...
Teach your kids a little something about the value of $1.
And I'm sure it was a clandestine fly-by-night operation, too.
Yeah.
So...
Not quite
I
mom
think
and
it's
pop.
It's a really shitty end to what would have been a good thing for these kids, and I hope they can forget this guy's fucking face soon. But that's me. I said this is where we are. I mean, people are popping off about No free refills at the lemonade stand. I was at CC's the other day, and I got unlimited free refills. So CC's is one of the few places that has unlimited refills nowadays. That's where I go for lemonade.
Brought to you by CC's Pizza.
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah, it's not the
We got
lemonade.
the tater tot
It's-
pizza now.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
It's never the lemonade. It's always the fucking 10 or 11 things that happened that day leading up to the... Or
You
shit
call
that-
this freshly squeezed?
the shit that's going on in somebody's life. Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck him.
Yep.
Fuck him forever. Glad he got caught. Anywho, that's
So
where we
long,
are.
Gorbachev.
What
Well,
do you got, buddy?
I got a little. I'm gonna do do a lighthearted, a lighthearted one. Lighthearted, nothing real serious.
Go down Easy Street here.
I'm going down Easy Street again in Florida. Florida assistant principal arrested after making 13-year-old student rub her feet, quote, like he loved her.
I didn't know she said that.
Okay. Here's
That, taken out of context. Taken out of context.
The teenage student told the Polk County Sheriff's Office that Dr. Kiavia Lark had allegedly called him sexy chocolate in the hallway at school.
Doctor?
Yeah, doctor, that's what I was about to say.
So I'm guessing this was in private or
This is
middle
okay.
of class, like
I'm
show and tell?
I'm about to read the article, Spencer.
Carry on, maestro.
An assistant principal in the Florida middle school is on an administrative leave after she allegedly had a student rub her feet while making inappropriate comments toward him.
Oh,
Doctor
yeah.
Be a fly on the wall.
Kiva Lark, 53-year-old woman, assistant principal at Lake Marion Creek Middle School of Poinciana, some kind of Indian word, was charged with lewd, lascivious conduct and lewd offensive against a student and lewd offensive. Goddamn Fox News, you can't edit your shit properly. With lewd offensive against a student by an authority figure. After the principal of the school reported the incident to the sheriff's office April 4th. So she was the assistant principal. The victim, a 13-year-old male student, was allegedly sent to her office after throwing a balled up piece of classic.
Yeah.
Throwing the balled up piece of paper across the classroom. That is just regular old hijinks.
Yeah.
Detention. You're going to the principal's office. While in
Rub her feet.
her office, Lark told him to rub her feet since he didn't have anything better to do with his hands. Two witnesses and the victim told the sheriff's office. She then allegedly took off her shoes, put her legs across his lap, and while he was rubbing her feet, she allegedly scolded him for not doing it correctly and demonstrated on his arm and shoulder how, okay, that's different.
If this was two adults, that'd be pretty kinky.
Yeah, well,
Well, I guarantee you none of those goddamn kids are going to throw paper in the
okay.
classroom again.
So I skimmed this earlier when I sent this to y'all, and I'm like, this sounds like just a thing from a teen movie from when we were
Now
young.
it's sounding less innocent.
Now it sounded a little less innocent. But even this, think about this scene. This is from a fucking 90s goddamn teenage movie. The kid gets in trouble. Everybody laughs because
American Pie all over.
American
Yeah.
Pie. They're fucking pies.
Stifler's mom.
They're filming tits of teenage girls illegally. While he was rubbing the feet, she allegedly did that, showed him how to do it on his shoulders and arm. And then the sheriff's office said one of Lark's coworkers heard her tell the teen to rub her feet like he loved her. And another witness allegedly heard her say that she wanted him to do this so he would know what foreplay is for when he gets a girlfriend.
Oh,
Yeah.
damn.
Okay, that's
That's a hard turn right there.
That's where it crushes your line.
I'll say it. I'm not on her side anymore.
No. One of the witnesses told detectives that Larf admitted to her a few days later that the incident with the student crossed the line. She'd realized. She's like, oh, fuck, man.
Since I've gone too far.
Gonna catch some pushback for that.
Yeah. While conducting a forensic interview with the victim, he told authorities that Lark has called him sexy chocolate in the hallway at school. That is definitely, look, I don't care how sexy and chocolatey I am, teacher.
She's probably licking her lips and tweaking her nipples. She looks sad in her mugshot.
She told detectives this was only a joke and that she was just trying to humble the victim, and which, again, goes back to the 90s teen movie thing. But it is completely inappropriate for a 53-year-old woman to act and talk like this to a middle school boy.
Yeah, that's fucked.
And
It's not even hot either.
And it's even worse given that
No.
this was an assistant principal.
Yeah, she should know. About
Yeah,
it.
doctor. That is fucked
Yeah,
up,
that
man.
was a bit surprising to hear that as well.
Yeah, it says she admitted she acted inappropriately, and
she's getting ahead of
I
it.
guess
then.
she's let's see, she was reported. Report behavior for anyone who works on this. Yeah, she's out of there. Not well, no, it doesn't say she's out of there. They said they're handling it, which she's
They're going
Take
to
a
move her
note
to
from
another
the
school.
Catholic Church.
they're gonna be like, hand over your badge and gun.
You're a loose cannon, doctor.
Yeah. So that's just a fun little Florida story. It's mostly harmless. I feel bad for little sexy chocolate though, because that's embarrassing as
Now
fuck.
he's a little traumatized.
Yeah,
chocolate.
because all his homies are calling him sexy chocolate now, roasting his ass.
foot rubbing motherfucker.
And they like, come rub my feet, motherfucker.
His feet smell like corns.
man,
Yeah.
fuck y'all. I didn't even like rubbing his feet.
I didn't even like that shit.
Yeah, so I don't know. Could you imagine? What was that bitch, Miss Sheeler? Miss Sheeler, that assistant principal when we were in high school?
I don't remember.
I remember her
I
name
remember
because
the
I
name.
hated her.
Yeah.
I hated her. She's
Oh, is she the big chunky one?
nah, she was medium chunky.
Okay.
Medium Mexican, medium white, like medium all the way around, except
I barely remember any
but
of
she
our
was a
principals
maximum bitch. Well, they fucked with me plenty, so that's the only reason I remember them. Yeah. If she'd have been like, you need to rub my feet, you got me fucked up. I'm getting fucking
Yeah.
suspend me.
Ever. Are you joking?
Like,
or
call the SRO in here. You
Yeah.
know, like,
get him to do it.
yeah.
Spray
Right.
some mace on there.
Right.
Well, in keeping with tales of sexual misconduct,
In Florida?
possibly. I didn't check that far. But everyone's favorite British right-wing newborn Christian, Russell Brand, has been accused of rape.
That's why he's born again.
That's not weird, Mike. This is supposed to be a weird story. That is something I could have. I was like, when I saw that, I'm like, yep, checks out.
Yeah.
Seems about right.
He came out and said, like this happened from, I believe, 98 to 2002, somewhere in there.
Oh,
I
that's
think it's like a 7-year
1998.
period. Yeah.
I guess that would have been his prime years.
Yeah, he came out and said, it was like, I was an imbecile, I was high, blah, blah, blah. So he probably doesn't even remember doing it, first of all, knowing how he, probably consumed drugs. But,
Oh, no,
yeah,
it was a
he's-
fact. He did consume drugs.
Oh, yes, most
Off
definitely.
of tits, more than likely.
What's her name's? Blah, blah, blah. The pop star he was married to. Can't remember her
Katy
name.
Perry?
Yes. Katy Perry.
I mean, if you're going to do some,
God, oh
off of
boy.
some tits, there you go.
Yeah, but the first thing I thought of when he was, accused of these crimes was like, uh-oh, someone's got a little rapey-wapey, to paraphrase how he likes to do with the wape and the bookie-wookie and all that shit he does.
Well,
but the bigger, weirder thing about this is that
he hasn't lost any fan base.
No, he's actually gained a fan base,
Oh,
or
sure.
it's expanded, and this is indicative
Called it.
of a bigger problem.
Just what we're talking about, too.
Yeah, you're gonna start hearing this phrase a lot more. Probably, it's called lawfare. It's a combination of law and warfare, like they tried to do to our president. Blah blah blah.
I mean, they did.
Not my president.
Yeah, like
did.
using the law against someone who, ironically enough, broke the fucking law, and just, trying to make a martyr out of them, basically. This is already what he's trying to do, and his fucking, break the silence video that
Now,
he came out with.
do you think they tried to do that, or it just happened that way? I think both of them, they tried to convict both. I mean, with old T-Bird,
Yeah.
T-Bird definitely committed the crimes, but they were definitely trying to fucking take him down before the election.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But they fucked up and they made a martyr out of him. And then also that fake bullet shooting by his head or whatever.
Yeah,
that helped too.
And then the second fake attempt as well. What it is someone breaking the law, dead to rights. They fucking did that shit. And regardless of the amount of heat and flack coming at them, the amount of support, and then they're turned into a martyr, and then, of course, it's a corrupt government that's doing it, and then they spin it to where they are the victim, etc., etc.
Yeah,
So-
he's the savior there. Everyone else is the tyrant.
Yeah.
That sounds like a Kevin Gates.
He's a prophet waffet. Yeah, you're gonna probably see a lot more of this shit too. Like, what's that dude's name? Matt Gates, fucking Hegseth or
Wiener.
Hedgeseth or whatever.
Wiener.
Anthony Weiner.
Yeah, the guy who leaked. We're gonna bomb Yemen on this day.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
They just had a thing about fucking Zuckerberg in China and how all these leaks are getting out about our defense strategies and shit.
They
It's
involved
like,
someone on the fucking group thread that wasn't supposed to be there.
A journalist.
Yeah, it's
No
not
less.
really. Oops, whoops. You know, they got through our defenses. No, you just included him on the group chat.
And I was gonna throw in some stuff about tariffs, but enough said. Really.
Well, they're gone again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here today, gone
that,
tomorrow.
That
Back again.
That 90-day pause is just going to turn into no tariffs. Mark
probably.
my words. You know, the China thing is different, but the worldwide
the
shit,
whole China
that's
thing.
just going to go on. It's already
China.
forgotten
Yeah,
by
I
the
was
news
about to
cycle.
say, you got to say the China.
What I thought
China.
was especially poignant about the whole tariffs thing, however, was Trump's response to it. Said that people got yippy. So apparently,
Yip yap and bing bong, bing bong.
fucking nationwide hands off my whatever is made in China, which is probably anything and everything in your fucking house.
Yeah, Nintendo Switch.
Yeah,
People
no,
getting yippy.
Yeah.
He dropped it off of all electronics, basically.
Well, as long as it's the things we need.
So all your Temu bullshit with your T-shirts with the kitties on them that don't fit right, but they smell really bad like chemicals.
and chock full of fucking
Misty orders these
Wuhan.
Misty does these Temu orders.
I've always wanted to
constantly.
order from him just to see.
The thing is, when you you get the ad, right, and you see something, you're like, oh, it's only $1.75 for a sweet crossbow, right? And I click on it, and then it automatically puts you on a roulette wheel, right? And the roulette wheel spins,
Oh,
and it's
God.
like, you have $50, but you have to spend it in the next 30 seconds. And like, so you have to like order all this shit and
They
make
turn it into like an online casino kind of.
it's a kind of a gamble. So
experience.
you end up spending maybe
Gotta up those endorphins.
you maybe spend $30 and you get the items that you get. Like, okay, one of the things she got the other day, it was supposed to be a clock, right?
Yeah.
You know what it was?
What?
a
it was
picture of a clock.
A picture of a clock.
What the fuck?
I've been hearing about that. They'll just
They-
send you a picture of the item.
They say, but it was
Cardboard
printed.
cutout.
It was a sign. It was printed on steel. But
the
like,
map is not the territory.
but then again, the number 1 was actually the 12 used twice. So it went 12, 12, 2.
Probably designed by an AI.
it's
just-
second 12 o'clock.
Yeah, second 12.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Anyway, fuck all that.
Yeah, I'm on Team Amazon anyways. Fuck Temu.
And fuck Russell Brand. I don't
Oh, yeah.
think anyone's really surprised that
Yeah, he
this happened.
sucked. He's never been funny.
No, he's never been funny.
I watched that
No,
one
and this
movie with him.
quasi-spiritual shit he does
That's
is
horseshit.
fucking
Yeah.
puke fest.
He, just like many people we will talk about in this episode, without naming names, have weaponized belief systems.
This is my truth.
Well,
Yeah.
he dove into. I don't know if he necessarily he did.
I think
no,
he
he
just-
monetized it.
I think-
he
yeah.
monetized it.
He
He didn't
saw that-
weaponize it. He's just using it as a thing to do, and also because he got sober.
Yeah.
And like all the sober
Became
people,
one of those insufferable
if-
sober people.
yeah.
How do you know if someone's sober? Because they'll tell you within 15 seconds of
Yeah.
talking to them.
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole thing about the NA 12-step culture is you are forever an addict in that culture. And if you
Yeah.
follow that program, you are always going to be an addict no matter what you do. And you have to revolve your entire life around the program.
Yeah, I dated a girl with, like, literally within 5-minute conversation and getting to know her, she was telling everybody
Which
about
I will say, I have seen it an advantage for some people that were complete loser
Yeah,
pieces
the
of
steps
shit.
work help a lot of people.
It does help
Yeah.
people. It's annoying, but
Yeah, too weak to do it on their own.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes to what Mike and I were talking about earlier, how some people just need to be told what to fucking do.
Yeah, because they don't want to think. They need someone to hold their hand through the whole
You
thing.
say don't want, I say can't.
Well, there's that too. But
They're fucking idiots.
it's
Some people are fucking stupid.
Yeah, it boils down to fucking either ignorance or apathy, really. But yeah, fucking. I think mostly he just saw that he was not gaining any popularity in whatever his original medium was. I guess he thought he was a comedian, and nobody thought he was funny. So, like a lot of comedians around the same time, they jumped ship to the right wing.
He's really the character from Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Yeah.
Like
that
straight
fucking
up.
song he sings gets stuck in my head too sometimes. I don't like it. But yeah, and then of course the Jesus thing. So it's really just all about clicks, anyways. So, but yeah, that's what's weird this week. This episode is dedicated to Belial, the demon who apparently manipulates governments in mass. I just found this out today.
Interesting.
Yeah.
There is
From
a-
like he's like a Solomonic.
Yeah, goetic
There is
demon.
a company, Belial Cabal. We have stickers. There's stickers on my toolbox over there from them. They have some pretty cool art and t-shirts.
Yeah, I see it over there. It says Ball Hugger Inc.
Yeah.
Fancy undies you like to wear.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
So-
they got a cock sleeve built on.
I've been wanting to try some of those. All the podcasts I
Weird
listen
legged
to,
pants.
they're always the cock sleeve
tuckets?
underwear. Yeah, where it's like a cock-shaped sleeve, so it
Yeah.
keeps everything from
Misty
sticking
was
and
trying to, she's like,
flopping together.
because I get rashes, I work in the heat, and she's like, you should get those. I'm like, no. I'm not gonna fucking,
Gotta get a bidet, man.
What do you think that's going to help with the heat?
Need a lot
bidet
more
will really
reason to
help.
buy a cock
What does the
sleeve.
bidet help with my, like now? Because I fucking sweat all day and walk. I get diaper rash, not shit rash.
I'm telling you.
Just get a bidet because it's.
I'm gonna get him a bidet for Christmas.
Yeah.
I don't, if you could.
Said you on TP.
I'll put you on Team Bidet. I'll even install it for you.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
change-
yeah.
I get anxiety about pooping where there's not a bidet now.
Yeah.
Well, I just do that because I take like 18-inch dumps.
My
but-
beehole is so like
Regular
pink
toilets.
and nice now. It used to be like purplish brown, like
Well,
like my
if
whole
there's
thing
a
was
sink
bruised.
right next to the toilet, you just get some wet wipes, fill it, make a cup of water, and splash it on your ass.
I mean practically, but not quite. It's you'll thank
The
me.
vast majority of Americans are walking around with a little bit of shit on their
If you
asshole.
get shit on your hands, is a wet wipe enough, or would you actually rather wash it and scrub it?
I'd wash it and scrub it, but that's what I do with the wet paper towels. I use a wet paper towel,
Yeah.
wash. You got to flush every time, though. You can't flush more than 2 paper towels at one time.
Anyways,
I'm telling you.
Cut that out.
nope, it's staying in. It's
I
canon.
gotta have some butthole discussion every episode.
So, hey, it's
Check out my OnlyFans. Will it fit with Spencer?
It's a window into our lives.
Turns out it can.
Yeah. Most
So
things,
yeah, like we said, this started out as a QAnon thing, and it just opened up into all kinds of shit. I will say, starting out though, like QAnon, it'll get some mentions here. I think the number one thing to point out is that a man by the name of Paul Vallely, who is a longtime psychological operations commander, which we'll get into a little bit of that as well. He's the guy who commissioned Michael Aquino to write Mind War. And for those familiar with all the QAnon conspiracy shit, Michael Aquino is their primary boogeyman.
Oh, yeah, my eyebrows. I got to get my eyebrows done.
Yeah, Mickey, they called him, supposedly.
But
when he
also,
was-
Mike, the books you sent us originally, one of the books
Yeah, I was going to get into the
is
sources.
magic. Okay, get into that, because I was tackling this from the yellow-orange man
Yeah.
angle.
We started out with Operation Mindfuck, kind of going straight into the QAnon shit, and then went into The King in Orange by John Michael Greer. I forget the author's name of Operation Mindfuck. I don't have it with me, but good read, worth checking out. It basically explains where all the bits and pieces of QAnon lore came from. And then The King in Orange was written by a druid named
Robert Guffey wrote Operation
Robert
Mindfuck,
Guffey, that's
which
right.
I will say I did not have time to read, but I did listen to a podcast where he pretty much described
Yeah,
it all.
he's on an episode of Mark Maron's podcast that pretty well encapsulates
Which,
the book.
Yeah.
listening to that, I'm like,
great
okay,
episode.
super fucking, super left wing, like super duper, super.
Hi, future me. I had to take the following several minutes out because Chris talks about the Jews for what seems like an eternity.
Yada, yada, yada.
So yeah, that and then I got into another book looking into this called The Art. Like something, the history of Psywar, conspiratainment, etc. Written by Steven Snyder, who hosts a podcast called The Farm, which if you've never listened to, is definitely worth checking out. Goes into some crazy cool
If you're
shit.
not freaked out enough,
Yeah.
check out the Farm Podcast.
Yeah, Spencer had to recuse himself quite a bit from studying.
Had my
into
head
this.
firmly lodged in the sand for this
Yeah,
one.
which
I'm hanging by a thread here, and
Yeah.
I'm down for most of this stuff, but
I totally understand. I get the same thing with like crime shit.
Wait,
Yeah.
why? What happened?
I was just saying stuff like this particular topic. I don't.
He had to recuse himself from looking very deeply
it freaks
into
me out too much.
Really?
Yeah, to know about all. Yeah.
I'm
I'm a giant poussé, as they say in France.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just already so freaked out. It's like that kind of conspiracy theory, like, will push me over the edge of not keeping.
You know
my
your
cool.
limits, and
Yeah.
that's good.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yep.
I understand. That's how I feel about a lot of crime shit. Like I can't wade in that world too long.
Yeah. No poo-poo, no blood play, no QAnon.
Yeah. I'm no poo-poo, but I can get fucking balls deep in anything else. Mostly.
Yeah, conspiracy theory and occultism and psyops, which I knew a little bit about, but like going more into this, like looking into the world of it is fucking fascinating. And I mean, it's old as fucking warfare itself, but like only in the last 100 years do you get into the like fucking how the sausage is made type shit going on.
Well, with me, it's normally the magic and the occult stuff. I'm like,
Yeah. But as I said before, it's
I'm
not
more meat, potatoes, and assassinations type conspiracies,
Not what you believe, but what the power elites
exactly
and control believe.
But do they believe that? Maybe. Because people believe a lot of dumb shit, apparently.
Well, yeah, and we'll talk about some of these people who have like
I think they're giving people what they want to hear.
Lasting influence on like occult thought becomes incorporated into specifically fascism, as we'll get into, and
just about everything else, really.
Yeah,
it's
inescapable. It's in your life every day.
Let's take time out to talk about the greatest magic of all, life. Since ancient times, man has been fascinated by the gift of life, that spark of magic that is in us all. But have you ever noticed that some people have more life in them than others? Today you're going to see me magically change this toy into
Adolf Hitler!
But we're going to try and focus on like the last 100-ish years or so, specifically starting at World War II. Now, this is where basically psyops and occultism really flourished into the military-industrial complex, whatever you want to call it.
This is when the band really got together.
Yeah, Sergeant Pepper taught the to play or whatever. Yeah, like after World War II, specifically with the creation of the atomic bomb, this is when, and the use of intelligence, etc. Like there's a reoccurring boogeyman in conspiracy culture known as the Anglo-American Alliance, which is basically Britain and America having all their economic and political interests tied together. And a long-standing enemy of specifically Great Britain has always been Russia, and then, of course, with us as well in the Cold War, post-atomic bomb age. And
really, that's just sound like a bunch of white people problems.
Yeah, pretty much. But they fucking control the world, basically. It's two competing narratives, and then I think we kind of alluded to before that they sort of use underdeveloped third world nations as sort of petri dishes. Yeah, proxies, and proxy war became a big part of this. And then the use of intelligence gathering. There's Operation
Media
Gladio.
manipulation.
I mean, proxy war was one of our, all from 1950 something to now.
Yeah, Korea.
Proxy wars. Korea and Vietnam are big ones. Then there was a lot of little ones here and there, and stuff that was really not a war. Nicaragua, pretty much
South
all of South America. Yeah.
Like the colliding of industrial culture with warfare. Like they kind of saw that the writing was on the wall, and it's like, shit, we're gonna have to come up with like a new way to fight wars. So.
And if you got my banana producing company or a country down there all hooked on communism, they're not going to be wanting to sell me fucking bananas.
Yeah, they're going to want to control the means of production of bananas.
But I want to buy the bananas. I don't want them to sell the bananas for their own benefit.
Yeah.
Even though communism doesn't.
29 cents a pound, horse shit.
In ideal world,
it would
work, but you've got people in charge of it.
Humans.
Yeah. And they're fallible and corruptible.
Yes.
So one of the major sort of, I guess you could call it, examples of this new sort of warfare that started was psychological operations, which encompasses a mass fucking just array of shit. Like propaganda is probably the largest part of it. Media manipulation. Operation Gladio was a big part of this. This
Pretty
is
sure
where
Misty does psyops on me like daily.
hey, it's
Don't psyop me, bro.
gaslighting. It's just, it's like we said, it's
That's kind
part
of
of
it's
your everyday
gaslighting,
life.
yeah.
I'm joking. She
But
does. Maybe a little bit.
Operation Gladio was started by the Allies to basically create what are called stay-behind units, where they would stay in countries that have just been, fucking bombed to
Liberated.
shit. Yeah, liberated, quote unquote, and they would find and foment people who were against the government or against the communists, really, and anyone they could use or manipulate to their, to their specific ends.
Make an asset out of.
Yes, exactly. Anyone who had even a slight grudge against, the standing government or the commies that could be turned their way. And there's a specific guy who, oddly enough, started in the world of advertising, go figure, named General Edward Lansdale. And we're going to get more
How was he
into
a
him.
general if he started in advertising?
Well, he got into the army, but, he
was just good at advertising. He started in the army.
Basically, he kind of just got, fast-tracked to psychological operations. And we'll get more into his story on the psyops end of things, but he is basically the wizard.
It's like a ketchup
it's like they
popsicle to
do
a
that,
woman in white gloves.
Yeah.
The army induction testing, like the mental acuity test and stuff.
Yeah.
They're like, wow, you're a complete fucking sociopath.
Yeah.
We got just the place for you.
And intelligence agencies were
Just
especially
complete
the
sociopaths,
OSS,
yeah.
that's where they needed them the most. So occultism, as far as it influences politics, like we said, everyone knows the Nazi occultism angle. You got Vril Society,
Vril.
which is totally
I've heard it pronounced Thule, which
Thule,
is
Thule,
Thule,
yeah,
Thule,
I've heard
Vril.
it both.
It's
Vril
Tula-
is
it's
always
Tula.
Oh yeah, I've heard that one too. Tula. Vril though is that's the
Yeah.
and the Wilsberg Castle.
Yep. Which is where Michael Aquino performed a
Michael
satanic
He
black
did.
magic ritual called the Woolsburg working.
Over the big black sun on the
Yep.
floor.
You've got Ariosophie, which is basically just, fucking Aryan people started everything.
Ugh.
But the whole through line
So-
with history and the Aryan race, I believe the proper term now is Proto-Indo-European to tiptoe around all the all the negative baggage that's been thrown onto the Aryan race or Aryan peoples or what, even the theoretical one.
Yeah,
But
because the Aryans were like Persian.
yeah, and partially India as well, I believe.
That whole pretty much from there north.
But there's a lot of poo-pooing and total bullshit on this so-called Aryan race, because while people were farming and fucking learning to be hunter-gatherers at the same time, supposedly these Proto-Indo-European people just showed up out of fucking nowhere and had horses and chariots and da-da-da-da. So people were like, the fucking timeline doesn't match up with the development of humanity, etc.
The tale as old as time.
And fitting into that, oddly enough, is one of the major sort of, let's say, narratives behind a lot of occult fascist thought that was championed by a dude named Julius Evola. He was basically the dark Sith Lord of fascist occultism. And what was his name? Mussolini and his crowd, they were like, this guy's the shit.
I briefly pulled it up earlier, and yeah, it was all, he was Italian.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ritual
Julius
magician.
Caesar Andrea Julius Evola.
Yeah. And even, what's his name? Steve Bannon cited this dude as one of his major influences.
An eccentric thinker in fascist Italy. He also had Nazi ties to Germany in the post-war era. He was the ideological mentor of the Italian neo-fascist and militant right.
That's him. And he plays into this whole...
Yo, he wears a monocle.
Yeah. He's a straight up cartoon supervillain.
Fuck
basically.
yeah, look at that fucking mugshot, bro.
He plays into this whole idea of there's a advanced race from a golden age, and that's what we need to go back to. So there's this reoccurring byline or school of thought throughout most fascist occultism that there's this golden age we need to return to, that we're missing something.
He was a failed artist.
Mm-hmm.
What's with failed artists going to fascism?
It's the fucking anger. I get it to a degree, the failed artist thing.
Oh my God.
No.
This guy?
No.
This guy? Okay.
So yeah, the whole idea of like a Hyperborean civilization, like you'll see a lot of like Hyperborean shit linked to fascist occultism. A lot of the groups that came out of this, like the Vril Society, like we mentioned earlier, that's all total bullshit. That whole thing is a psyop.
Made up.
Yeah. Maria Orsic, not real.
Yeah,
she
that
didn't-
is my favorite of the 90s conspiracies of like original internet. I have the picture hanging on my wall of her.
Yeah.
Because that is like,
It's from like a shampoo commercial or some shit.
no,
The original picture of her?
the original, well, it was a real Nazi woman. They changed the head. I don't know where they got, I forgot where they got the head, but it wasn't a shampoo.
Her face and head are from like a shampoo commercial or
What?
something. Yeah.
I
saw somebody do the what do you call it?
they break it
image
down?
dissection. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it was from somewhere. I mean, it's an old picture, and she's a very beautiful lady with long hair. But they put her on like a regular Nazi woman's mugshot.
Yeah. I wonder
Portrait,
if,
excuse me. Why do I call them mugshots?
her ghost knows what's up with her face now. But this also plays into the idea of New Age ideas and New Age philosophy, as well as the realm of conspiracy theory being hijacked. And this was another major Q offshoot, because we all knew, the three of us here in this room, as soon as QAnon popped up, we all said the same thing. This is the hijacking of conspiracy culture to fucking sell or...
I didn't get to see it till in 2019. So in 2016, when it started popping up, was when I took my vacation.
Right, yeah.
And we didn't have the internet.
Your legally mandated vacation.
Yeah, I didn't have the internet, and I barely had news.
A partial retirement.
Yeah.
Midlife retirement.
Yeah. Anyway, but yes, one I got, I was like, oh, wow, this shit's crazy, but it's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
What have y'all been doing while I was...
But yeah, like around 2016, I don't know, I think a lot of people can agree to, like, and I don't equate it all to necessarily the Trump campaign, but that's when the world just
Russian
got
interference.
really fucking weird. Yeah, and Russia's a bit of a boogeyman throughout all this shit. Like the Anglo-American Alliance, alleged Anglo-American Alliance, like their intelligence agencies have always been locked in warfare with Russia forever, fucking it seems, like all throughout Western history. And they refer to it as the Great Game. And Russia using fucking, like, fostering fake conspiracy theories, etc. The Okhrana, which was the Tsar's original intelligence agency in Russia, they're the ones who are credited, I guess is the right word, with perpetuating the protocols of the Elders of Zion.
Yes.
So that just is a perfect example of how a fucking... Rolling Stone can fucking gather bullshit down a hill and become bigger and bigger.
Which is
and,
very interesting
Stone gathers
considering the
shit moss.
Bolshevik Revolution was mostly Jewish. It was right after that.
And I saw something else that was talking about...
The protocols were probably, 20s? Isn't that when it came out?
I think
in
so,
Russia?
yeah. Maybe early or late teens.
Yeah, it was around... It was after World War I.
Yeah. And I saw something else about how England may have started World War II and blamed the Jews on purpose. I don't know. That's a side quest that I'll look into later, but it was fucking interesting. I'll say that. So, yeah, looking forward a little past World War II and the hijacking of conspiracy and using conspiracy theories, there's this group that comes along called the John Birch Society.
Oof.
Super conservative, and you'll see this byline a lot too through a lot of this, as far as like psyops and culture war, quote unquote, which culture war is taken directly from a Nazi phrase. I forget what it is. It's like Weltanschauungskunst or something like that, but it just means worldview warfare. So it's all about perception management, basically.
Real quickly, the John Birch Society is an American right-wing political advocacy group founded in 1958. It is anti-communist, supports social conservatism, is associated with ultra-conservatism, radical right, far right, right-wing populist, and right-wing libertarian ideas. Originally based in Belmont, Massachusetts, the JBS is now headquartered in Grand Chute, Wisconsin, with local chapters throughout the United States.
Real winners. Yeah, the John Birch Society gets its name from a guy who didn't even exist. John Birch was allegedly a Christian missionary / soldier who was murdered somewhere in Asia. I want to say Vietnam or Korea.
He's murdered just for believing in the Lord.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. They got a picture of him on Wikipedia. He looked kind of like
Yeah, they got pictures of Jesus.
He looked kind of like Spencer's brother.
Really?
Hey, speaking of,
I
did I tell y'all?
you kind of see it, right?
Yeah,
Little
see
bit.
it,
Little bit.
Yeah,
Little bit.
yeah.
Little
Tell her to
bit.
stop that shit.
Did I tell y'all real quick that I found Jesus
He was.
Where was he?
in the parking lot of a QT?
Oh, nice.
See?
Oh, it's a little
John
homie
Birch
Jesus.
was killed in a confrontation with Chinese communist soldiers
That's what it
during an assignment he was ordered by the OSS 10 days after the war ended. Crazy.
Oh, not real. Not a real
Late
guy.
to the party.
Really?
Yeah, no.
I haven't ever looked into who John Birch was.
He's a fake person.
But why do they got a picture of him right here?
Well, he was. The story is fake.
AI.
Yeah, he's a whole just mythical figure that they set
Oh,
up.
yeah. Okay. The man was real. His backstory.
Yeah. And a lot of it, like, we're going to get into some hazy spots about what counts as occultism because religion has been hijacked and used as a weapon by fucking psychological operations forever. This is a big thing, too, and that's why conservative Christianity plays a big part.
Psychological operations have also been used by religions.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. It's all.
It's
Since the
psyops go
fucking
back
founding
since
of religion.
fucking
Oh, yeah.
goddamn.
You could say religion is the biggest psyop ever.
It is. I have said that many times.
But yeah, because of godless communism, whether or not, like the state function was to be atheistic, whether or not how true that was, I will say from what I've read that the Eastern Orthodox Church definitely became an intelligence agency of its own to a degree during the Cold War, even though it was largely marginalized. But the perception in America was that we're fighting godless communism. So conservative Christianity became a huge rallying point for a lot of unsavory characters. And then you have other groups who are like proto-New Age, like everyone knows about Blavatsky and her kind of misguided influence upon the Nazis, etc. And then you have like weird out there like fringe groups like the I Am movement out of where else? California. That were like a proto-saucer cult who had strange ties and connections to American Nazi Party founder George Lincoln Rockwell and the Silver Shirts. There's a whole crazy nebulous world of neo, like, I don't know what you call like the first neo-Nazis, like proto-neo-Nazis, I guess.
Jerkoffs.
Neo-Nazis.
Wait,
but
you talking about pre-Nazis or after Nazis?
after Nazis. In America, the American Nazi Party.
Oh, okay.
Illinois Nazis.
If they were if they started during World War I, then they're just Nazis.
During World War One?
Excuse me. If they'd started during World War II, then they are actually just Nazis.
Well, so you also get into the crazy, murky world of like all the paperclip Nazis, and like we did bring a lot of intelligence people
Those are
over
goddamn Americans, sir. And
They
I will
started Disneyland.
Yeah, I will not have you besmirch the great paperclip German men
that took us to the moon.
That took us to the fucking moon
sound studio
and showed us how to launch fucking missiles really far to bomb other countries.
Let's see. Yeah, there's a whole weird nebulous world of like saucer cults as they first started in like the late 40s, early 50s of like the contactee movement, people who said that they were making psychic contact with UFOs and aliens and shit. Like, there's a whole weird overlap.
Fuck, I would have loved to grift the CIA.
Oh my god, it would have been so easy. Fucking California was the place to be back then. Like, fucking, there's gold in them our hills.
Yep.
So post World War II, yeah, the intelligence agencies come in. And this is also when you see the proliferation of intelligence agencies, and it's not just government intelligence agencies, but the private sector as well. And this is also a big part of what Eisenhower's famous, military-industrial complex speech was about, and that it's not just...
That is the only politician I ever really respect.
Yeah.
Is Dwight D.
Yeah.
Al Bundy was
Eisenhower.
right. Eisenhower. Because he literally
Old Dwighty D.
was a West Point graduate. Like he was military from fucking childhood.
Yeah.
Essentially, or since the teenage, since his fucking dick had fur and got hard.
He knew what the fuck he was talking about.
He was in the military and worked his way all the way up through the military, fought in wars, then became a president. And when he was on his way out, he's like, man, you know what? Y'all got to watch out for us because we're not good.
It's pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
I'm just
he's like,
letting
I've
y'all
seen
know.
some things. I know what they're doing.
Before I go,
quick
note. But he's also talking about the proliferation of private security companies, private intelligence agencies, shit like that, which, most people are familiar with Blackwater, Eric Prince, super piece of shit.
Yeah.
We'll talk about him more later next episode. But, there's a lot of private intelligence gathering agencies, and there's a lot of new technologies that are coming out being applied to warfare, specifically like game theory, intelligence gathering, etc. And this is where a lot of the earliest computational fucking shit was going on. Like computers were being used for forecasting. So what today we have as, what would you call it? I guess targeted advertising. This shit goes back to the 60s. So like we're just seeing like one public
data
facet.
farming. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Back then they just had a fuckload of people analyze. I mean, analysts. That's what FBI, CIA analysts. They just analyze the data.
Yeah, those punch card computers.
And put it into something that's fucking usable for them in some way or another.
So, like, forecasting is what they call it. Like, basically just feeding a bunch of shit into computers and using the algorithms, et cetera, to see what's coming next, what are the basic trends, and they use shit like the Census Bureau or just mailing out questionnaires, and people had no idea. And one of the really fucked up things about a lot of these groups, and this continues to this day, is that they all have these really, really just benign sounding names, like the Human Ecology Fund, or
the Human Fund, money for people.
I just
people selling people to people.
I just think of the modern analyst that predicted Q was like, hey, check this out. So these people are totally, everyone's gonna fall for this shit. It's the computer is totally predicting
we're gonna sell them on like
that some asshole's gonna think that Hillary Clinton's gonna eat the face off a baby and
babies.
And fucking have the fountain of youth and masturbate on an island.
Like there's a lot, and like looking at this more too, I doubt that there's even a legitimate authoritative left wing in this country, because it's all funded by the same fucking organizations and people. The phrase
they're peddling influence for the same people. Both sides.
The phrase politically correct started off as a satirical joke by some feminist, I forget who, because I'm not gonna read that. But like it started off as a joke and people on the right ran with it. But this is where you also get into the New Age movement, which
PCU, great movie.
Yeah, don't be that guy. You get into the New Age movement, and there's a lot of fascist underpinnings here. And there's one woman named Barbara Marx Hubbard who,
old Mother Hubbard.
She no relation, by the way, but she's one of the like foundational people or whatever of American New Age, and I think she's also the one who started the Gaia channel on YouTube.
She started Gaia?
I think so.
Wait, the Gaia, like, there's a whole
Network.
website.
Yeah.
There's a
It's
network.
a streaming service.
It's a whole
the
network.
whole media empire is a facet of these people.
Interesting.
And one woman named Lisa Clappier. She figures greatly into the whole...
She's had the clappier a few times.
Yeah, I bet she has. Look at that haircut. She figures greatly into the whole QAnon shit we'll really delve into next time, but I wanted to specifically mention her because she's the one who is largely credited with getting all of the New Age, hippy-dippy, woo-woo fucking people on board with that shit, which a big, foothold into that was like anti-vaxxers and shit like that.
And just general distrust of the government.
Yeah, that's a big part of it.
That's the thing that is baffled me, and it's still amazing is the fucking that the left are so supportive of the government and are like, listen to the government entirely now.
Yeah.
And now it's the right that, if you were like one of these crystal reading fucking like vaccine non-believing organic food eating
Sedona, Arizona
hippie Sedona
mafia.
woman, you are now a right-wing extremist.
Yeah, and this Clappier woman, she's largely credited with getting all that New Age shit, like getting these people to come on board. She's got some bona fides for, a person of her ilk, I guess. She was well established, but once again, like finding the true political leanings and motives of a lot of these people and where they come from and what it is they want to do, despite their lovey-dovey white light bullshit.
You know how you can see where any of that, where any person is? Look at Mark Zuckerberg. Fucking
lizard.
He's a lizard.
I'm not a lizard.
Was all super left. Now where did he go? He went and kissed the goddamn ring.
Yeah. And even now we're looking at like all the shit with the tariffs and fucking like the mass protests across the country. So the news tells me I didn't see any people protesting. But like there's people who they thought someone was going to come along and drain the swamp, etc. But it's all bullshit. It's just another. It's another psyop, and I don't understand how people couldn't see that as well. I don't know, but like, what's interesting about Trump and the QAnon movement is this is the first time in American history that we had an anomaly of an event like January 6th. Never happened before. First time. So
what you mean? Boston Tea Party, 1776.
That was pre-America.
Yeah, that's birthed America. So,
and that was started by the British East India Company that was also a psyop.
I know. I still, but technically, January 6th, I still stand by. I don't agree with them at all, but it was their God-given right as an American to raid that Capitol building.
Hey, me from the future again. I just wanted to point out that since it's my show and I do all the editing, it's my God-given right to sneak in and point out that when Chris was in the shower before us recording, I rubbed my genitalia and asshole all over all kinds of stuff in his house in a reenactment, if you will, of the biological warfare committed against the Native Americans, because it's my God-given right as an American. Is it petty? Is it vindictive? Yes, but so is the temper tantrum of January 6th. So, whatever. Back to the show.
Yeah, I mean,
if you're
not wrong, you're just an asshole.
Yeah, well, I mean,
technically, that's what the country was founded on.
That is what the country was fucking founded on.
Yeah, but
it's like the motherfuckers didn't want to pay their taxes.
That's why they gave us the Second Amendment to begin with.
Yeah, exactly. It's true.
It is technically true.
It's true. Yeah,
but it's fucked.
Yeah,
but it is also a psyop. It was a psyop. There were feds that led those motherfuckers in there.
Yeah.
The whole thing was guided by federal motherfuckers.
It was fomented.
They call them glowies,
and
is what they're called when you fake it.
When we get deeper into the QAnon stuff, like you'll see that all of this was organized. Like it may have started off as two jerkoffs. Fucking 8chan or whatever, but certain people hijacked it and started applying strategies like gamification and LARPing, etc.
It started as just two jerk-offs, snowballed into a thing that people really believed. Then it was co-opted for the psyop.
Yep.
And then it is just, who knows? It's so many fucking dicks dipped in that fucking puddle. I mean, who knows where
most of them are military. Well, yeah, military intelligence people.
And who knows where the fucking herpes came from? We're all fucking stuck our dick in there. So
just like Christopher Columbus all over again.
Exactly.
And what's interesting is that a lot of people think psyops is like a huge like intelligence agency thing, but it's actually all military.
All military.
These people are commonly referred to as operators. And all of this stuff is straight military.
But a lot of them could be smaller and rogue factions.
Yeah, there are,
a lot of them are done just by like independent contractors.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Like
this is independent contractors
without government oversight.
That's right. So this is what fucking Eisenhower was talking about, and people don't really know the level to which, like we said, like most people are familiar with Blackwater, but this shit's been going on forever. Like even by, Pinkerton Agency.
Yeah.
Fucking, and if you don't know about the Pinkerton Agency, they're pieces of shit.
Watch some goddamn cowboy movies.
Yeah, labor unions, labor busters, fucking just, dude, the fucking history of labor disputes in this country is so fucked up and nobody really knows about it. It's definitely worth getting into and looking if you are busting your ass for 40 plus hours a week for jack shit. Look into your country's history. So yeah, the fascist occultism angle, like once again, you got Blavatsky, you've got Julius Evola. There's another fella by the name of René Guénon, or Guénon. I think it's Guénon, but
QAnon?
French traditionalist. Traditionalist is and Evola was big on this too. Traditionalist is just the same thing for occultism and magic as
when you said,
remember the good old days?
When you said French traditionalist, I thought of somebody that only puts it in the ass.
You mean the French hello?
Yeah.
Oui. So yeah, and then man, like I said, some of this stuff branches off into so many crazy fucking avenues. Like we will do the transhumanist agenda at some point in the future, but a lot of this
Technocracy Inc. type of stuff.
Oh.
yeah, like there's people who tie the transhumanist agenda with like ancient alchemical shit and like the quote unquote rise of like transgenderism has to do with like a crazy alchemical transhumanist conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
What else? There's Colonia Dignidad, which during all the shit that you alluded to earlier that was going on in the 80s and I would say 60s to early 90s in South America.
Yeah.
Colonia
50s.
Dignidad was a like sort of Nazi cult / compound.
It was, but it was one man that
It's more like a resort.
really turned it into his resort of child molestation.
Yeah. They had weird, kooky occult beliefs, and like there's people who went inside and said like they're doing full on weird rituals and shit in there.
He was an ex-Nazi, or he was a Nazi.
He was a Nazi,
an
yeah.
escaped Nazi, but made his own cult.
Paul Schaefer,
Yeah.
not the kooky guy from
Not
from
the,
Letterman.
the drummer?
Yeah, no, Paul Schaefer.
That's Weinberg, yeah.
Max,
Max
I don't think
Weinberg.
it was a Weinberg. When you wish upon a Weinberg.
maybe, I don't know. Fuck. You know?
Oh yeah, but that, by the way, that lady, Crappier, what was her
Crap-
name?
Clapper.
Clappier.
Yeah, she got the clap.
Yeah, she
Got the clapper in her snapper.
she's a big component to the Gaia media empire. So if you watch it,
I see commercials and they're fucking gross.
yeah, just
Wait, what do you mean? Like I always
see commercials
it's always
on Hulu.
alien shit. Yeah, I see the commercials
Yeah.
for Gaia. It's just alien shit.
I see a lot of shit about like
What is your problem with them, Spencer?
Well, it's just, I mean, it's so far new age. All this like
Has to be-
ascension and enlightenment
Yeah.
and stuff.
Ah,
you know,
okay,
it's like
okay.
there's a lot of people talking to like channeled 8th dimensional entities and shit like that.
Oh,
But it
okay.
might as
Yeah,
well
yeah.
be spliced with ads for Goop at the same time.
Yeah, I've never watched it or anything, but I've seen it, and I thought it was mostly alien stuff, but I didn't know it was like the new age
It's
spirituality.
very wind chimey.
Any-
fucking.
Okay.
Anybody that's pushing this whole fucking like white light
Yeah.
kind of narrative,
Yes.
be very wary of those.
Uh,
That band 311.
Did y'all meet that?
Amber is the color of your energy. You
Did
know,
y'all
that's
meet
where
that
it all
chick?
started.
I'm not going to say her name. There was a chick that we hung out with that was very. She would come over here and start seeing demons and talking about fucking energies and all this shit. And we're like, bitch, get the.
I've heard tell of this person you speak of.
Yeah, we're like, come on, man. We're trying to have a good time here. Just shut the fuck up. Don't tell us about the demons in our house and stop bringing up trauma, okay?
Yeah. We're trying to have a barbecue.
Yeah, literally, we were trying to
Yeah.
have a barbecue.
Yeah, I just came in for the potato salad.
So yeah, there is a through line of New Age fascism, and while all that New Age shit is popping off, you've at the same time got stuff like Project Stargate, SRI going on. All those guys who are involved in the fucking First Earth Battalion. Fucking, there's people who the men who stare at goats.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, which one was that? I know that one, but I don't know that one.
Yeah, they're all in the background, like pushing for this, and there are some people who have posited the theory that all of this shit was basically a disinformation campaign to keep the Russians busy looking into like World War Woo, basically, is what you could call it. Meanwhile, all that shit was a misdirect while America was also working on heavier computational shit, proto AI, if you will,
Yeah.
stuff like that. So
Basically, better ways also to launch a missile.
yeah, that too. Mhm. To more directly put it up your ass.
an AI missile. Yeah.
Up your ass.
You getting that ass
America.
That's what the fuck you do.
What are you talking about?
You let that man slide today. You gotta immediately get in somebody's ass when that happens to you. You pull their asshole open, step into their asshole, close the door behind you, take a spray paint can, right?
America.
Was here. You spray paint
America.
was here, wash me, all that kind of shit. Fuck his whole asshole up. These some Snicker bars, throw some paper on the floor, read a newspaper, ball of paper up the newspaper, and throw the newspaper on the floor. Fuck his whole asshole up. You know what I'm saying? Then you open that asshole one more time. Open it again. Open that asshole again. Oh! Step out his ass. And leave that motherfucker wide open so he know you've been there.
Yeah, but at the same time, was Russia, because Russia was doing all that shit. Who was on first? Who was on with the silly shit first? Because we were doing the silly shit, they were doing the silly shit.
Yeah.
We don't know about all the silly shit they were doing because it hasn't all been released, but we know they were doing silly shit.
And infiltration of pre-existing groups is a big part of psyops, COINTELPRO, and many of the first American UFO groups, like civilian UFO groups, were headed by military or started by military or had military fucking figures deeply entrenched. I think MUFON is completely compromised, if I remember correctly. There was a couple that are and you'll know about the sexual abuse allegations.
Oh, with the MUFON?
Yeah, there's
I might have heard that, but it seems about right.
I think it was like the last guy who was in charge.
You're telling me an alien investigator was sexually inappropriate with a woman?
People who are into anal probes. Yeah. Now, at the same time, you've got like pockets of resistance and shit. Like our whole Laurel Canyon series kind of shows that much of that may have been manufactured, or at least they co-opted something that maybe started organically and turned it to their end. But as far as occultism goes, around the 70s-ish era,
very nebulous, mercurial. So I kind of made it like a fucking salad bar at a buffet restaurant. Yeah. Let me tell you why. Much like salad bars, chaos magic got really popular in the 70s and 80s. They coincide. You know, you could think of it. It's a big analogy. Like your main courses, which is like your spring and romaine mix, the flagons of salad dressing. That's like the fundamentals of it, which were these two names, Peter J. Carroll and Ray Sherwin. They published these books called Liber Null and New Equinox, which you've read, Mike.
Oh, Psychonaut?
Yeah, and Psychonaut, yeah. It basically grew from a dissatisfaction of rigid ceremonial magic systems. They wanted a quicker way out, you know, an easier way. They were tired of things like the Hermetic Order of the Golden Carrots or the spiritual kale that is Thelema.
Magical Cliff Notes?
Yeah. Magic for dummies. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Thank you.
Yeah. You know, the most powerful tool on a salad bar is the tongs. Yeah, am I right? You know, you kind of can't do it without. Belief is the tongs of Chouse magic.
Yeah.
It's like the most basic tool. It's like thought forms. If you believe it, it's there to a certain extent. Kind of if you say the same lie enough over and over again, it kind of becomes true in a way. You know, it's like the secret. If you focus your intent on anything long enough, there's a much higher probability of that eventuality happening.
Yeah.
There's no ultimate truths, you know? Like, put the fucking chocolate pudding on your spinach if you like.
Nothing is true, all is permitted.
Yeah, I mean, people say you can't or you shouldn't, but you still can if that's what works for you.
Like ham chunks.
Make the fucking potato salad your god if you want. If your potato salad lord is giving you what you need, we're here for it.
Flying spaghetti monster.
Do what works, you know. Use ranch if you don't want the fucking raspberry vinaigrette, you know. Sigils, you know, to me it was kind of like that extra pound of napkins that you get, and it's like a power tool that you can charge up with energy, whether it be or fluids. We'll be honest, just like a napkin in a salad bar. Usually semen, blood, and kung pao sauce. It's meant to be used.
Gooning for God.
It's meant, once again, like thought forms. It's meant to, like, you create.
Sounds like some Kanye shit.
You create this sigil, and then you're supposed to forget about it. And you know,
that's the hard part.
Yeah, so in theory, what's supposed to happen is you forget about this thing, and it keeps going in the back like a background process and working on its own in the background without you being conscious of it. It's like creating an imaginary friend, and the imaginary friend goes out and gets a job.
Yeah.
Gnosis is a big fundamental of chaos magic. Altered states that can be achieved through drugs, through sex, sensory deprivation. You know, you want a sense of gnosis. It's like how you feel after you have 6 cups of that fucking swirl soft serve after you already had, you know.
The salad bar.
Yeah.
Are you talking about super salads?
They're one of them. They're in on it too. Yeah.
And if you get the fascist occultism, it becomes a soup plantation.
Yeah, but I'm imagining more like the ocean buffet or something like that. You know, servitors is another fundamental aspect. Or like think about your imaginary friends. We did an episode on what's or who's it's from wherever.
Alexandra David Neal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and her imaginary friend that she made that.
The monk or whatever.
Yeah.
Traveled through Tibet with her.
And it's like, you know, if you have an imaginary friend long enough, and just like anything else, whether it be, you know, Buddhist meditation, whether it be an imaginary friend, whether it be an idea that you focus your intent on, it becomes a part of your thinking to where it's almost real, you know. Yeah. It's real to me.
It's still real to me, damn it!
That is, so reading the King in Orange, the guy describes his definition of magic was changes in consciousness with accordance to will.
Yeah. That's kind of a cribbed version of Crowley.
It's a crib, yeah, whatever it is, but it's simplified enough where I'm like, all right, you're just mind fucking yourself into.
Yeah.
If you believe it, it's if you build it, they will come.
Yeah.
Essentially, it's fucking. They just stole the whole thing from Field of Dreams. I mean, fucking Christ, man. God
if you
damn.
build it, they will come.
If you build it, they will come. Or if
It's
you
very
come, you can build it.
If
Like
you charge the sigil, you will come.
yeah. It's all those things. So I get it. We're like magic because you know I'm like fucking magic, fucking nerds, goddamn fucking all this dumb shit. But I'm like, okay, you're just kind of mentally getting yourself in the zone is what magic is. It's like willing something, and it's it's I guess you could be positive with it or negative with it, but it's almost, I guess if you're trying to perform magic, no matter what, if it's for negative or positive, it's positive for you. So it's basically you're jiving yourself with positivity.
Yeah,
which is what I do. And I guess I work a little bit.
Oh, we know.
Yeah. Hey, don't shit on my magic, okay?
Hey,
my magic apparently is working.
Don't yuck my yum.
Please don't. I would never. Chouse magic can be used. You know, it has Austin Spear. It has Aleister Crowley. Zen Buddhism, things like cyberpunk, and even science fiction.
Yeah.
The key is whatever you want it to be, it can be. It's very DIY, much like
conjure up Superman,
much like a salad bar. Modern day things about this. Operation Chaos in the 70s was a surveillance program, basically formed to get data mine on people, the counterculture, to find everything about them, to find how they think, what they eat. And Operation Earnest Voice is a more modern thing that used social media it was like America's test kitchen for finding the perfect way to use social media to manipulate the court of public opinion. Yeah. Influence public opinion to make it fit their strategic plans. Which, I mean, all you have to do is go on Twitter, go on Reddit. And it's
feeding the egregore.
Yeah. I try not to. I'm on YouTube, and I know that's not completely innocent, but social media can make everyone their own servitor, so to speak.
Algorithms.
If you think about it, algorithms.
Our servitors,
you know, you narrow your view into a certain thing, like on YouTube, when you click on a certain thing, it gives you more of that. It's like every little bit of energy you put into it, it has a titration effect, and it gives you something.
I for a minute. All right, I was trying to describe to my coworker this video of this guy masturbating in a car while a woman yells at him. Try Googling black guy jacking off in a car while woman yells at him.
There's thousands.
You're going to end up with so much bullshit.
But sometimes she'll like stick her hand in the car.
But finally, no, that didn't happen. She was very angry. She was beating on the window. Finally, I found
jerking that big
an Instagram video with this guy. And he loudly, he comes like, when he comes, Like he really does this thing. And I finally found it to show it to
Humana.
show it to my boy. And then now every fucking video that pops up on my feed is either goddamn Fleece Johnson or this black guy masturbating and coming loudly. Oh.
And I guess you could relate that to the whole feedback loop that social media has, and you can compare it to what Robert Anton Wilson calls reality tunnels.
Yeah, that's where I was going.
Yeah. It'll
You put the blinders on so you only see a narrow field of view. It's fear-based advertising is a big thing, that they use. It, the world is fucked unless you get a separate order of salad to go to take home.
The guy in the other political party fucks babies.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, campaign advertisements for sure. Makes everything seem so much more so much worse, so much more chaotic. You're gonna be your kids are gonna get flayed if you don't click on this video.
And it's
if you don't smash that subscribe button.
And things have gotten to the point where, and this is designed to be this way, where nothing relies on facts, so much to the point that a former Trump media czar has started using the phrase alternative facts for shit that's wrong.
And it's everywhere now. Yeah.
And it's all
other slogans.
It's designed to play on your pre-existing beliefs and values as opposed to giving you information.
Yes.
Brings me to slogans, or otherwise known in the magical communities as mantras.
Yeah, or sigils as corporate logos.
Right, yep. The Bausch and Lomb, or not Bausch and Lomb, anyways.
Procter & Gamble?
Procter & Gamble, thank you. Make America Great Again. Make America Great Again.
Yeah.
Make America Great Again.
MAGA.
And on the other side, yes, we can.
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe we shouldn't. You ever think of that? The news agencies themselves, carefully crafted narratives. Once again, you say something enough and it becomes real. Imaginary friends, servitors. Trump is a very powerful magician.
Yeah.
In a way of thinking. He's not wearing a pointy hat and making salt circles.
That's the thing.
Shit.
I get this now.
Yeah.
Like now that if I get the understanding of magic that you were explaining, yeah, I get it. And that this guy,
it was the salad bar analogy, right?
It's the same. It got it. It got it, Spencer. I clicked. Thank you.
I could write a book.
It's all perception management is really the biggest part of it, and that
it's like your will influences your perception, and your perception influences your will.
And people can use it on themselves or use it on vast amounts of people.
So I am a fucking grand wizard.
Would use a different title.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, you're a grand wizard.
we're gonna put your wizarding up on the fridge.
You can
for
be whatever
everyone
you
to
want
see.
to be. Yeah.
Storytelling,
telling stories is like casting a spell.
Narrative control.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And this is a big one. Mimetic magic. We're not doing hermetic magic anymore. We're doing mimetic magic.
Yeah.
Memes. Yeah.
And that brings us
big
into
time.
the 2016 election, which a lot of people attribute Trump's baffling rise to things like mimetic magic.
See,
memes even today play a huge
GIFs. Can we say when I sent that minute work golf clap GIF?
Yeah.
There was like the first 6. They were both wearing hats with fucking abbreviations on them that I didn't know what they were. But I had to search through the GIF menu to find one that was just the clip from the movie. They all had, and I'm sure it was awful, whatever it was. They were all like little cartoon hat over Emilio and Charlie with weird multiple letter abbreviations, so that's big, and
out of memetics specifically, and mimetic magic and chaos magic too, like there's another group that came out of that called the CCRU, or Cybernetics Culture Research Unit, and even though I don't think they intended to, they came up with the concept of accelerationism, which is so big amongst many of these assholes who are saying, like, things are so fucked, we just need to go ahead and drive it into the ground.
I was there briefly I was there briefly for a minute. I'm like, fuck it. Let's just fucking, like, before I had a wife and child. I was like, you know what? Yeah,
you got a little bit more invested in this reality as it exists
I do. But like before, I'm like, well, fuck it. Let's if that's really what it's going to take to get society back, let's go ahead and just let it collapse. Fuck, start over again.
Yeah, no.
Now I'm like,
Nah.
man, I'm trying to build credit right now so I can buy a motorcycle.
What many people say about this whole let's return to the Hyperborean Golden Age bullshit, civilization has been getting better and better and better and better as we go on. Technology
certain
has,
civilizations.
Well,
I mean, as a general idea, yeah.
in the overall big picture grand scheme of things, like we're raping, killing, and eating each other less.
Way less. Like crime is down compared to the 70s, 80s.
Yeah,
90s.
down from the early aughts.
Per capita, all the way.
Despite whatever gloom and doom horse shit that someone wants to sell you, and they are trying like fuck to sell you this narrative
to get you clicks and views.
That's why I don't get upset about this shit.
Things aren't that bad.
Yeah,
so
they're not.
Keep that in mind. Things
really
are
not.
progressively getting better as we go forward. And you have civilization to thank for that, for the large part. Yes, it has its problems, and yes, most of us will be damned to know what we fucking have to do to fix it. But
destroying everything isn't the way to get there.
Yeah,
we're smarter than that.
Nobody knows what the fuck is going on, and anybody who says otherwise, as once again we've said before, is either trying to sell you something or get you to join their cult.
Or schizophrenic.
No, I know what's going on.
OJ did it.
Oh yeah, the Grand Wizard. Yeah,
I'm the Great Wizard. I'm the master of my own realm.
In sort of a weird
master your domain.
Yeah.
I'm out. In sort of another weird, like, side quest twist to a lot of this stuff, I've also found that Mormonism is playing a bigger part in these sort of...
They're multiplying.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, sister wives will do that for you. Quiverful, etc. They're playing a bigger part in... they're jump humping the world right now. But something I found that was especially strange is the connection between Mormonism and Skinwalker Ranch. And a lot of the people... I've
never heard that.
Yeah, okay, so the family who originally owned Skinwalker Ranch, Mormons, the people who funded and are connected to NIDS, National Institute for Discovery Science, with Robert Bigelow, the guys who did all the research there, a lot of Mormon funding, a lot of Mormon connections. The guy who owns it now and is doing the TV show, Mormon, it's right in the heart of Mormon country, and I have yet to read it yet, but Skinwalkers at the Pentagon, which is the sequel book to, I think it's Hunt for the Skinwalker, was the original book that sort of like busted the whole thing wide open. There's a lot of people who are strongly associated with Mormonism and people in the defense aerospace field who are
hold on
connected to Mormonism.
Are you telling me the Mormons are the new Jews?
Well, I mean, I think that's technically part of their whole theology.
That is their theology, actually.
They are
the chosen ones.
There's something about ham. There's like a cursed ham. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, like this all sort of just is meant to lay the groundwork to just let you know how entrenched occult thought is. And like we said, this is scattershot. Like this is such a huge fucking topic that we could create a whole separate podcast on it. But this is sort of lay the groundwork and sort of get into the mind space of some of these people. And when we come back next week, we're going to get into the whole psyop side of things, which gets a lot more specific. And we'll be using Q as sort of an anchor point to illustrate how this shit works.
We
bring top of the bracket
to bring it into modern times.
Yes,
but this psyop has been going on since the dawn of time.
Oh fuck yeah!
As soon as somebody told somebody
anything,
for the birth of religion, I mean, it's just
Hey, look over there.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That's
pretty much.
That's essentially what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Yoink.
So yeah, tune back in with us next week, and we'll be getting into the nitty gritty of it, and
nitty gritty.
Hopefully, we'll have some shit that'll. I mean, if this didn't have, just go through and listen to this episode and have your search engine handy.
Yeah.
And you'll be going off in some weird fucking directions.
And now I'm gonna start having my search engine handy to find out how many different ways the Mormons are connected to it.
Oh, they're entrenched. It's a uniquely American religion. I'll say that.
Yeah.
But this is Kooks, Cranks, and Iconoclast. I'm your host, Mike, and as always, I'm joined by
Spencer Lowry,
Christopher, the motherfucking Grand Wizard Wells.
I think he means like
Magical wizard.
like Grand Wizard Theodore, the rapper.
Yeah.
All right, folks. See you next week. Love you.
Night.
Bye-bye.